Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission is really to cut through all the noise around one of the world's, well, most talked about companies right now, Novo Nordisk.
Exactly. We're doing a bit of a surgical extraction here.
Yeah, we're focusing only on the opening remarks from CEO Maziar Doustar during their Q3 2025 earnings call. No deep dives into Confluent's financials, no getting lost in the Q&A.
That's the plan. If you want the absolute core strategic message, the big pivot they're making, this is your shortcut.
Yeah.
We need to understand what the company is giving up and where it's aiming all that firepower.
And the immediate thing that jumps out the hook is this kind of massive contradiction right there in his presentation.
Right.
You've got incredibly strong sales performance, a fantastic quarter, but at the same time, the CEO is narrowing, which effectively means lowering the financial forecast for the future.
It really makes you pause, doesn't it?
It does. You have to ask yourself, why the sunny caution when things look so good right now?
It is highly counterintuitive. You'd think strong demand means raising projections, right?
Absolutely.
But instead, they're hitting us with a more conservative outlook. And that disparity, well, it immediately signals that the competitive landscape, especially in this blockbuster drug market, it's changing faster than maybe even they expected.
So we need to unpack how those expectations shifted and what they're actually doing about it. Okay, let's start with the hard numbers then. The first 9 months of 2025. What did the CEO actually report for current performance?
Well, the performance is, frankly, stellar. At constant exchange rates, you're looking at 15% sales growth.
15%.
15. And 10% operating profit growth. I mean, these are numbers most big pharma companies would kill for. It just underscores how dominant their current portfolio is.
Okay, so if sales are growing by 15%, why the worry about the rest of the year? This is that paradox you mentioned.
Exactly, because when they looked ahead, they narrowed the guidance range for the full year 2025, and pretty aggressively, too.
How much did it change?
The new sales guidance, it dropped down to a range of 8% to 11%.
From 15% current growth down to maybe 8%? That's quite a drop.
It is. And the operating profit guidance fell even more sharply. Now it's sitting between 4% and 7%.
Wow, okay. That's a significant shift from the recent history.
Yeah.
Did the CEO give an explicit reason for tightening that outlook?
Oh, absolutely. He was very clear. This lower expectation is explicitly because they anticipate lower growth rates for their main engine, the GLP-1 treatments.
Right, the GLP-1s. Let's just quickly unpack that term. For listeners who follow the news but maybe aren't deep in the pharma weeds, what are GLP-1 treatments and why are they so absolutely central to this company?
Good point. GLP-1 means glucagon-like peptide 1. Basically, these are drugs initially for type 2 diabetes that help manage blood sugar. They started as injectables. Now there's an oral one, too, which this company pioneered.
Okay, so diabetes treatment.
Yes, but the real explosion, the game changer, is their effectiveness in promoting weight loss, treating obesity. These are like the hottest drugs on the planet right now.
And that narrowing guidance suggests the party might be getting a bit crowded. Competition heating up.
That's exactly it. It signals that competition for these incredibly popular products is intensifying. Could be market saturation down the line, but more likely, it's about pricing pressure coming soon.
Makes sense.
Yeah, when you lead in a category that could potentially treat, over 1 billion people globally with diabetes and obesity, well, everyone else is going to come after you. They're seeing those competitive headwinds forming, new players entering the space, and they're adjusting financial expectations now before those pressures really hit hard.
But even with those headwinds looming, their current impact is just enormous. I saw a note about the number of patients they're reaching.
Yes, the scale is huge, and it shows the opportunity they're chasing. The company is now serving around 46 million people.
46 million.
Globally. People living with diabetes and obesity. And get this, compared to just 12 months ago, that's 3 million more people using their GLP-1 treatments.
Incredible growth.
So the challenge isn't really finding customers, you see. The challenge is defending that market share and actually servicing that kind of exponential growth worldwide.
Okay, so that massive scale, combined with the rising competition, seems to lead directly into the CEO's main message, right? The strategic refinement. He used the phrase sharpening the focus. How does a company this dominant actually sharpen its focus?
It means ruthless prioritization. They stated their core purpose hasn't changed, solving major unmet medical needs. But resource allocation, that has to reflect a new laser focus. They are officially going all in, diabetes and obesity. Targeting that massive market, over 1 billion people affected, that's the battleground.
Is this purely an internal R&D play, or are they looking outside too? acquisitions, partnerships?
Oh, it has to be both, especially given the urgency. They acknowledged the need to be patient-centric, develop things internally, absolutely. But the strategy explicitly relies on adding external assets, partnerships, acquisitions.
Like the Acuro deal.
Exactly. The CEO specifically cited the Acuro acquisition. That targets NN-SHAIS, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, which is often linked to obesity, a related comorbidity.
So they're building kind of an ecosystem around the core treatment.
Precisely. It's not just about the primary drug anymore. It's about managing the related conditions, too, supporting the whole patient.
And to fund this sharper focus, this ecosystem, they must be cutting back elsewhere. What specific areas do they say they're pulling back from?
Yes, you can't fund everything. To free up capital and, importantly, talent, they are discontinuing several non-core assets, as they put it.
Any examples?
The big one mentioned was the stem cell research program for Parkinson's disease.
Parkinson's, wow.
Yeah, the CEO classified that work as being further away from our core.
Okay, let's just pause on that for a second, because that tells a really powerful story, doesn't it?
It does.
Stem cell research, especially for something like Parkinson's, that's seen as high cost, high risk, very long-term payoff, if any.
Exactly. Blue sky research almost.
So pulling the plug, there are signals. They're essentially cashing in those long-shot bets to pour money into the immediate war in the obesity market.
Absolutely. It's a clear, immediate reallocation of immense resources. They're effectively saying, look, we can't afford to spend big on things that might pay off in 10 or 15 years, maybe never, when we have this huge competitive fight right now that needs every single resource we have.
Makes sense from a business perspective, however tough.
They did say they'll maintain targeted work in rare diseases, but otherwise, yeah, resources are being strictly concentrated on the core GLP-1 related areas and those comorbidities.
Okay, let's look at the immediate results within that core strategy then. Are there R&D milestones showing they're actually delivering already in these focus areas?
Yes, the R&D engine is definitely still firing. Look at Rybelsus, that's their oral GLP-1, semaglutide in a pill.
Right.
It's now approved in both the US and the EU with new CV indications, cardiovascular indications. That's based on the big SOUL trial results.
Why is getting a CV indication so important? It sounds technical, but it's a massive market driver, isn't it?
Oh, it changes everything. Seriously, when a drug gets a CV indication, it means it doesn't just treat the main condition like diabetes or obesity. It's proven to actively reduce the risk of major events like heart attacks or strokes, even death.
So it saves lives beyond just managing the condition.
Exactly. And that is gold dust for pharmaceuticals. It transforms the drug from just a metabolic treatment into something closer to a life-extending preventative medicine. That hugely boosts negotiating power with insurance companies, with payers. It expands patient access. It really cements their lead.
Okay, that definitely helps justify the cost and disruption of the transformation we're about to discuss.
Yeah.
Now, what about the commercial side? How are they adapting to how these blockbuster drugs are actually sold and marketed?
Well, the CEO specifically mentioned that the market is showing increasingly consumer-like behavior. Meaning patients are more informed than ever. They often seek treatments proactively themselves. They see ads. They talk to friends. They demand convenience. It's not just doctor-driven anymore.
Right, more like direct-to-consumer.
Pretty much. So to address this, their commercial plans include specifically expanding telehealth capabilities across different markets. They're adapting because that's where the high-demand obesity market is clearly heading.
So it's not just about having the best drug anymore. It's also about making it super easy for motivated patients to get access to it.
You got it. Modern channels for modern demand.
Which brings us to how they're going to pay for all this. This sharpened focus, the R&D, the commercial build-out.
Precisely. And that leads us to the real centerpiece of the CEO's remarks. This massive company-wide transformation program.
Yeah, this sounds like more than just moving some budgets around. He talked about simplifying the operating model, speeding up decisions. That sounds fundamental.
It is. It's a radical shakeup, and the goal is explicit. Reallocate capital and resources exclusively towards the highest growth opportunities.
Diabetes and obesity.
Diabetes and obesity franchises. This is total organizational commitment. It's the GLP-1 future, basically.
Okay, so what are the specifics? Because the impacts here, both financial and human, sound enormous.
They are. The human cost, let's be direct, is significant. They expect a reduction of approximately 9,000 positions globally.
9,000 jobs. Wow.
Think about the sheer complexity of managing that kind of reduction worldwide. It's an organizational earthquake. But this painful consolidation is directly tied to a massive expected financial return.
And what kind of return are they projecting from all this disruption?
The transformation is projected to drive about DKK 8 billion, that's Danish kroner, in annual savings.
8 billion kroner annually.
Annually. By the end of 2026, this isn't a one-off saving. This is DKK 8 billion every single year starting soon.
That is just staggering leverage, 8 billion a year.
And here's the crucial part. The CEO really emphasized this. Those savings are not just going to pad the bottom line or boost profit margins in the short term.
Right.
They will be immediately redeployed to expand our diabetes and obesity franchises and fund strategic priorities.
So it's fuel for the fire.
Exactly. It is the ultimate expression of their all-in strategy.
Yeah.
They're cutting deep elsewhere to pump those massive savings directly back into winning the GLP-1 fight.
This really does sound like a high-risk, high-reward play. They are essentially consolidating their entire corporate future onto the success of these GLP-1 drugs.
That's the bet.
If something unexpected happens, maybe tougher competition than forecast, or new regulatory hurdles for this drug class, they don't seem to have much of a backup plan left after this.
That is absolutely the risk they are consciously taking. The motivation, as they see it, is twofold. Capture that rising global demand, which is undeniable, while also strengthening their competitive muscle in this increasingly consumer-driven obesity market.
And they build that muscle by this huge internal overhaul.
Yes, creating a leaner, faster, more focused machine, funded by that DKK 8 billion a year. It's a profound restructuring. Hashtag tag, 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 outro. So let's just sort of crystallize the high-impact takeaway here for you, the listener. What we've seen is this dominant pharma giant making two huge moves at the same time. First, they're narrowing their short-term financial guidance. That's a clear signal they feel the competitive heat right now. But second, they're launching one of the most radical, expensive, and frankly high-stakes transformations in their history.
9,000 jobs cut to generate DKK 8 billion a year.
Exactly. And all of that pain, all of that money is for one single purpose: ensuring massive long-term growth and market dominance in that core GLP-1 space. They are sacrificing breadth and near-term stability for what they believe will be future supremacy.
It's a truly remarkable gamble.
Yeah.
And it's completely rooted in their conviction about the sheer scale of this market opportunity. The CEO, even while acknowledging the competitive headwind and the lowered outlook,
Yeah.
he closed by stating quite unequivocally that the long-term volume opportunity in their core area is, quote, enormous.
Enormous. And, that really raises the crucial question that's going to define the next few years for this company, doesn't it? Given the incredible scale of that DKK 8 billion in annual savings they plan to generate by late 2026, how quickly and how effectively can they actually translate that immense cash injection, that war chest, into a truly significant lasting lead, especially in the face of increasingly tough competition in this global obesity and diabetes market?
Right. It's one thing to save the money. It's another thing entirely to spend it effectively to win the war.
Precisely. The execution of that redeployment, that's going to be everything. That's the story to watch.
That is the ultimate strategic test. Well, thank you for diving deep with us today. We hope this gives you a much clearer picture of the complex but very determined path ahead for this particular pharma leader. Until next time.